Welcome back to another episode of Weather or Not. I'm your host, Austin Long, here with forecaster Daniel Weaver. And Daniel, we've seen a little bit of rain this week, surprisingly. Is that the pattern to continue into the weekend here?
Well, not into the weekend, no. Unfortunately, we're going to be a little dry this weekend, a little chilly too, but we will still be above average in the 50s for this weekend, but no much needed rain is coming this weekend.
That's great to hear. We'll hear from Daniel in a little bit, but first, here's your Nature in the News.
The fifth flight test of SpaceX's Super Heavy rocket Starship recently occurred about a month ago, back on October 13th. This flight test is the fifth flight test of a Super Heavy Starship rocket, with this test designed to further test the reusability of the rocket. SpaceX accomplished all goals set for the launch when the booster, or the bottom half of the rocket, was spectacularly caught by the launch tower a few minutes after liftoff. Starship, the biggest rocket ever designed and built by SpaceX, is their next-generation rocket that they hope will lead the way for future space exploration. As this is the biggest rocket ever to be launched from planet Earth, catching the first booster was no easy task, but one that took a lot of time and effort to get it just right. Designed to be fully reusable, SpaceX hopes that one day a Starship will carry people to the Moon, Mars, and beyond. SpaceX has their eyes set for early next week for a flight test number 6, bearing that there are no issues with the weather or the rocket itself.
A scientific breakthrough is helping blind eyes see again. 3 people with severely impaired vision who received stem cell transplants have experienced substantial improvements in their sight that have persisted for more than a year. A 4th person with severely impaired vision also experienced gains in their sight, but they did not last. The 4 are the first to receive transplants made from reprogrammed stem cells to treat damaged corneas, the transparent outer surface of the eye. The outermost layer of the cornea is maintained by a reservoir of stem cells housed in the limbal ring, the dark ring around the iris. When this essential source of rejuvenation is depleted, a condition known as limbal stem cell deficiency, or LSCD, scar tissue coats the cornea, eventually leading to blindness. Treatments for LSCD are limited, but there is hope in this reprogrammed stem cell research. All 4 recipients showed immediate improvements in their vision and a reduction in the area of the cornea affected by LSCD. 2 years after receiving their transplants, none of the recipients have experienced severe side effects. There is still much to discover about what exactly caused the vision improvements, but with further testing, there is high optimism that this could one day give sight back to many more.
And what has felt like ages, rain has finally returned to Pennsylvania this week after a very dry October. According to the National Center for Environmental Information, October of 2024 was the 7th driest October since records began in 1893. Notably, the eastern half of the state was much drier than the western half. Some individual cities across the Commonwealth had their top 3 driest Octobers on record, with Philadelphia and Johnstown and Lancaster having the driest on record, while Allentown, Wilkes-Barre, and Du Bois had their 2nd driest on record. The lack of rainfall throughout the month has also exacerbated drought conditions throughout the state. The drought monitor that was published last week on the 7th has about 97% of the state in some form of drought. While the rain this past weekend helped a lot, we still have a long way to go to break the drought. Hopefully, November will be a little more wet than October. Like I mentioned earlier, we won't see any rain this weekend, but temperatures will be above average, yet it'll still feel cool, and that's because we've been a little warm these past few weeks. And speaking of which, on Friday, we'll be mild in the low 50s, so still above average, with partly cloudy skies. If you look down here towards the south around the Delmarva and eastern Virginia region, we might see a few leftover rain showers. That is due to an area of low pressure that has departed the region, but we might still see a few lingering showers off the coast of Virginia and the Delmarva region from that. Then Saturday, it's really mild with temperatures in the upper 50s, so about 5 to 7 degrees above average, given our average high is 50 degrees. We've got high pressure in control over the Ohio River Valley, which will help to keep us mostly clear, maybe a few stray fair weather cumulus clouds or cirrus cloud or two, but otherwise it will be pretty mild with temperatures in the upper 50s with clear skies. And then for your Sunday, we have the stationary frontal boundary here that will help to increase the clouds a little bit, but due to that high pressure down towards the south, the clouds won't really be able to do much. They'll just be in the sky. No rain is falling. That rain will come later into next week, but not this weekend thanks to that region of high pressure. Temperatures will come down a little bit too on Sunday with lows around the mid-50s, so about what it was on Saturday, but a smidge cooler from Saturday, but still around average. Speaking of temperatures, Friday we are forecasting a high of 53 degrees, so 3 degrees above average for your Friday. On Friday night, we'll drop those temperatures down by about 15 degrees with a low of 38 degrees with skies clearing out, so those clouds are helping to trap in that heat a little bit overnight on Friday. Then for your Saturday, thanks to this lack of cloud cover, the sun will actually be able to heat the earth a little more, and because of that, we are forecasting a high temperature of 56 degrees, so about 5 to 7 degrees above average. Our average high for Saturday is 50 degrees, so a good 5+ degrees above average. Then for your Saturday night, due to that lack of cloud cover, we'll see the heat escape from the earth and drop those temperatures down to a low of 32 degrees. And then for your Sunday, we are forecasting a high of 57 degrees with mostly sunny skies. And up next is a feature by Matthew Howard on how weather affects your mood.
Ever sit down and feel the case of the miseries on a cloudy day? Well, it's no coincidence weather can significantly impact our emotions. Different amounts of cloud cover is one of the main factors on how weather impacts mood.
I feel like it can tend to impact it because right now it's pretty sunny out, so I'm vibrant, I'm active. It's pretty. There was a lot of rain, pretty cloudy, so I felt a little bit more down so than usual.
Well, if it's rainy, I feel more gloomy throughout the day. But like weather like this where it's cooler, like I like it. It can't be too hot either because then I'm like dragging myself to class and then I hate it and then I'm like sweating and whatever. So colder weather makes me happy, but it can't be cloudy either. So I'm really picky.
The sun is out, I'm happy. If it's like cold and like cloudy, I'm sad because I can't like go outside. It's a really not going to be fun walk to class and then I'm like all drenched.
Many Penn State students felt happier during sunnier days. A 2005 study from the Association for Psychological Science proved this further, as it was indicated that people are generally happier when the weather is pleasant and sunny. On a sunny day, we produce more serotonin, a chemical in our brain that boosts our mood and calms us down. It is also noted through the study that people are less motivated and more tired on cloudy days. We feel generally sadder on a cloudy day because our brain has increased melatonin, which causes us to feel more drowsy. This shows more that the weather significantly impacts people throughout the year. It's not just about the weather, though. It's the varying sunlight that we receive throughout the year. During the fall and winter months, the tilt of the Earth's axis causes the northern hemisphere to receive reduced sunlight. These shorter days contribute to a form of depression otherwise known as seasonal affective disorder, or SAD. This disorder affects about 17 million people in the United States. The impact of SAD differs by location, with individuals in the northern United States receiving the least sunlight and experiencing its strongest effects.
There's a fair amount of people that have seasonal affective disorder, which is depression that comes about when the daylight diminishes in amount and sort of in quality. So usually that's the fall, and then they start to feel better in the spring again.
While cloudy skies can dampen our moods, these aren't the only issues that affect us when it comes to the weather. Heat is an increasing issue as our climate is changing. Hot days tend to make us feel more uncomfortable. Most of the United States experiences heat throughout the summer, but some southern regions of the country can endure high temperatures just about any time of year. Extreme heat is known to last longer and become more intense in the future as our climate changes at its fastest rate in history.
Actually, people are more aggressive on high humidity and high temperature days. Actually, I found a research study that said that at baseball games, the pitcher is more likely to hit the batter on days that are hotter because of less tolerance and sensitivity to the higher temperatures. There's actually more riots, more murders on really hot days. So that's some ways that the higher temperatures can really affect our mood. I think our tolerance just goes down when we're really hot and sticky.
Heat is one of the most deadly forms of weather, killing about 1,000 people in the United States every year. However, in the past several years, this number has increased to an annual number of 1,500 to 2,000 deaths. As our climate continues to change, deaths from heat-related illnesses may continue to increase. We can experience heat stroke and heat exhaustion if we are not mindful of how long we spend in the extreme heat. As many places warm, it can make living conditions unbearable, especially for those who have limited access to air conditioning. This impacts seasonal affective disorder as sunlight and temperatures can deter our moods. Even though this can be the case, there are ways that we can improve our mental health when we are faced with these struggles.
We can just push ourselves on gloomy days to say, every day is worth pushing ourselves, regardless of the weather. We really still do have the same energy level and drive. Sometimes we can just give ourselves permission to say, oh, it's gloomy out. Let me stay home and under the blanket and on the couch. But honestly, we can just still push ourselves and try and make the best of every day, regardless of the weather.
Staying positive and practicing gratitude are two keys to success. If you ever find yourself feeling stuck or consistently down, seeking support from a trained mental health professional can help you navigate these challenges and find effective solutions no matter what the weather. For Weather or Not, I am student meteorologist Matthew Howard.
While we won't see any rain this weekend, we'll see quite a few chances for some rain in the new work week, especially as we get towards the end of the week and into the new weekend. But before we can get to that, we gotta get to this weekend's forecast and starting things off with a high temperature of 53 degrees with partly cloudy skies for your Friday, and that is actually our coolest day out of the 3 weekend days. And Friday will actually be 3 degrees above average, which is 50 degrees, and the lows won't be too far from average of 38 degrees. And then for your Saturday, our temperatures climb up a little bit above average thanks to those decrease in cloud cover, so now we're forecasting a high of 56 degrees with sunny skies, maybe a stray cumulus or cirrus cloud in the sky, but otherwise it'll be a pleasant day weather looking wise, but we do need that rain. That's coming in a minute. For your Sunday though, jump that temperature up a little bit to 57 degrees. Those clouds starting to come in, and that is ahead of a new storm system that will be moving in. In fact, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the cloud cover will gradually increase and those temperatures will gradually decrease. And then our storm system finally arrives on Thursday and Friday with some rain chances, but no snow in the forecast. And Austin, that reminds me, isn't our first snowfall? Shouldn't that be happening soon? Or at least close?
Around average time of year, yeah, Daniel, it should be happening. So we asked the question, when is the first average snowfall in State College? Is it A, November 15th? Is it B, the 16th? C, the 17th? Or D, the 18th? So if you said November 17th, letter C, you would be correct. Yeah, Daniel, it should be happening right around now, but doesn't look like it is.
No, it's actually looking a little too warm right now, but it's not even winter yet, meteorological winter. That starts around December 1st. That's when the weather becomes more wintering-like, but it's weird because astronomical winter is around December 21st. That's just has to do with how the sun and the Earth's rotation on its axis is. So a little too weird, but the point is we still got a lot of time for some snowfall, which we're really looking forward to.
I personally I'm not a huge snow lover, so we can push all that snowfall well into January and February. That's all we have for this week's episode. Be sure to tune in next week for a brand new show.